everyone. Welcome to Coffee Chat episode 9. Today I'm with Liana, and she is a student advisor with Humber Indigenous Education and Engagement. Thank you, Liana, for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to learning more about you and sharing this knowledge with students. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so before we get started, can we just maybe get to know a little bit about you? So maybe like your career background, your role as an Indigenous Student Advisor at Humber.
Totally. So I would like to first introduce myself. So first, I say Suguli Sugweg. That's in the Oneida language, and I'm saying hello, how are you? My name is Liana. I am the Indigenous Student Advisor here at Humber College. I started in this role in February, so I'm still learning the groundings of Humber as well as the department and working with the student services. My background, I studied communications and also did my post-grad public relations certificate with Humber College. So I am familiar with Humber as a student, as well as I worked at Humber College right after I graduated as well for a year, just over a year. And then I had a role at an Indigenous Friendship Center doing communications, event planning, and doing working with various community members, both Indigenous faith groups, cities, city memberships, like a wide variety of stakeholders. And then learning that I'm building capacity within our own team at my previous role. And I came across this position. I've always been connected with the Humber Indigenous Department as an alumni and also as a former employee. So I'm really happy to be here, and it's really great to have like a familiar setting and a familiar group of people to work with.
That's really great to hear, and it sounds like you do bring a lot of knowledge with you to this role. And I think we kind of share a little bit of a similar story. I also was a graduate from Humber and started my first job here as well. So I think it's a really great place, right off the bat to, step your foot into the professional world. So it's really great to hear.
I think it's common. As I'm learning, getting to know more people at different departments, it's really great that Humber hires its own. And that says a lot about a company.
And I agree with you. Yeah. And so in terms of the support that you now offer students, is it academic support, or is it career and academic related?
So both. I help advise whether it's an academic concern or career counseling. We really help with like my advising role. It's more so meetings with students one-on-one. We have group advising, as well as just checking in with students as to whether they're navigating Humber while they're first starting out or throughout their whole education pathway, and just for different concerns, whether it's a classroom concern, they're looking for financial support, need help scheduling or organizing themselves. So it's a wide variety, and I'm just here to like see where are the needs and concerns of the students, and how can I help their experience and help them to find the correct services needed. So that's my more advising section of my role. And then another section is providing services and events and workshops to enhance their skills. And recently we launched a RBC program. So we have 2 RBC programs that are supporting Indigenous students at Humber as well as alumni. The first is the RBC Grad Ready. So it's supporting those students who are ready for graduation and being prepared to start their career, and then also staying connected with them once they are starting in their role and as alumni. And that's really important too, because your connection with Humber doesn't stop when you graduate. Some students that in the past haven't connected with the center, and then as an alumni they connected back and like, yeah, actually I've been meaning to connect. Things happen, and like it's really great that we're welcoming and we're supporting everyone's journey. So that's one part, is the RBC Grad Ready program. The second program is the peer-to-peer mentorship that's launching in the fall. So it's matching first year students with upper year students, and really developing a mentorship guidance of these students who kind of started learning the way Humber works, any post-secondary school advice, other community connections. So there's really great opportunity to have that peer support, and community is so important while being a student too. And if you're the only student coming from your high school or different walks of life, having a connection right away is going to amount to so much. And we really want that support needed right from the get-go.
It's really great to hear. And I like that it's sort of like a journey that a student spends with their advisor, just with the center in general, from when they start, and now especially with this peer-to-peer program that you just mentioned. And I think you're right, especially in this current specific climate of everyone's, sort of staying at home, even in school and for work. So I think something like that can really help students sort of feel more comfortable as they progress in their education. So I think that's a really important and a really valuable program that you'll be offering. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah, we're excited. We're like in the middle of planning our summer months.
Okay.
So we're trying to create educational workshops to improve like financial literacy, how to find an apartment in Toronto, housing budgeting, rental rights.
Wow.
So a lot of things that are conversations that should be happening year round. So it's really cool, and I'm going to be learning a lot too. So it's gonna I'm hoping it'll benefit a lot of people.
I like what you just mentioned as well. I think I hear this really often. I left so and so school and I didn't actually learn about these things, how to find an apartment, how to manage my finances. So I think that's really amazing, and I think valuable to everyone. I think myself too. So yeah, I think that's really great for students. So I know you touched on a few of the services, but do you still offer one-on-one workshops, networking, special events? Do you mind just going into a bit more detail about some of those?
Totally. So I have a booking link that recently
Mhm.
got posted on our website, and it'll be
Okay.
soon to be posted on the Advising Careers Services website too. So I'm open to meet with students and alumni one-on-one or group advising. We do have upcoming workshops, so summer, stay tuned. And we have RBC Grad Ready orientations each semester. So the first one was back in March. We had Ted Nolan, who is a professional hockey player, and he talked about his experience with his cultural identity and shared his own story as an athlete and as a coach with the participants who attended, and how he navigated his journey, one from moving from a reserve to coming to the city. So we're having these orientations will be happening on a semester basis. So we're planning our summer one that's happening in June. So another workshop to help students find a representative in their community that they could find relatable, and also motivate themselves and recognize their strengths and their journey, essentially. So we have those orientations coming up, and then we will have mentorship seminars later in the fall. And then in terms of networking, again, still in the planning, we just launched our LinkedIn page. It's dedicated for Humber Indigenous students and alumni. And we've been inviting our graduates and alumni that we are aware of, and it's really neat to see it's slowly growing, and then people are requesting to join our group, and slowly individuals are posting. So we're sharing job postings there, bursary opportunities, and it's just a space, like a safe space to connect and build their networks professionally and culturally.
That's great. And I think we can definitely share those in the bio.
Yes.
And that's great, like that you are offering mentorships and even dedicated spaces where students can connect with others that they relate to. And I think that's really important as well, just for personal growth and also professional growth. So again, really great to hear all of these services and opportunities for students.
Totally. Yeah. When we're right now, this week, because it's the last week of April, on Friday, we're hosting our annual Indigenous Awards Gala. So we've been connecting with a lot of our graduates there, and we've been finding that some graduates they're going to be their first event that they attended with our department and our workshops, which is really cool because I think this is almost a stepping stone. Like, we're congratulating and honoring their success as especially like this past year, like navigating an online learning environment. So that is a celebration that's worthwhile. So it's really neat to see new faces and familiar faces coming up. So yeah, that's why I just wanted to bring that up. I don't remember exactly the context behind it, but
That's okay. Yeah.
That's what I want to share.
Yeah, and as soon as you get any more details or even have a booking link, we'd be more than happy to share that in the bio as well. Definitely.
Yeah, we do. I'll share that with you after.
Okay, awesome, great. And then so in terms of student advice, do you have any important tips for students or commonly asked questions that you are noticing are coming up frequently when you meet with students?
Right now, it's very diverse about the different questions.
Mhm.
A lot around financial support. So I think just as before I dive into financial supports, I think it's important if there's any concern that a student may have, feel free to share it, and maybe we'll be able to access the resources because we have a wide variety of networks within Humber. So I know it's hard for students to like navigate or something. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking so general, but I think as long as someone's aware about it, whether it's in our team, we could help find the support, whether it's internally with Humber or identifying an external resource, whether it's a community center or a cultural center that could best fit their needs. And we're happy to walk through and learn things together. So maybe it's not a question that we get often, but like, you know what, that's something we should know. Let's learn together and we can navigate it better. So in terms of financial support, there is a lot of bursaries available. We host an Indigenous student bursary that's given out in the fall and winter semester so far. There's Miswibik, it's an employment and training center, and they offer post-secondary school supports as well as a startup job fund. So those who are starting their career or starting a new position, there are financial supports available. And that's just one example. There's always things that we're aware of, from getting newsletters or connected with other organizations. If just as simple as like if you're interested in a certain field of study or a career path or have a concern or you have an interest, we're here to help you navigate that and explore that area.
That's so true. And I think what you're mentioning earlier about resources, that there is such an abundance of resources out there. And sometimes, I mean, I'm not sure how often, but they do go unused up or they're underutilized essentially. So I think the first thing is to really just, reach out, ask questions. And there's always people that are willing to help you and get you maybe on the path or just find help, where necessary.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping to meet with more students, especially when they come into Humber. Like, what are their goals right now? Like, what are their interests? So then, even if they change within their whole idea changes within a semester or a month or so, like, let's explore that. Like, this is such a cool opportunity, and this is the place to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, very true. And I think it creates sort of a safe space. Um, I think it's very frequent. I also personally changed my program when I first, got into college because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do and I didn't know where to ask for help, unfortunately. So I think that's the first step to really just ask for help. Talk to people, whether it's your family, friends, but if not, there's so many advisors at Humber that are there to help you. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I think it's really great.
I had something similar as well. Like I started my first year of university at Wilfrid Laurier at the Waterloo campus, the same field of study, communications. And then after maybe in like the first semester, I wanted to live back home and go to school in Toronto. So I was able to transfer to York University. But I didn't, I voiced that to the Aboriginal Student Center at the time and sharing that like this is where I want to be, this is how I want to transition. So she was able to connect me to the Aboriginal Student Center at York and be able to get oriented to that space and learn more about we arranged a campus tour. So having that introduction and rather than myself exploring or um, trying to navigate a new website or how do I transfer, like I'm so grateful for both centers that they're available. And then also again, like I transferred, well, did my post grad later on at Humber. So being at three different post secondary schools, I'm I had to learn three different systems essentially. So I think I could only imagine what other students might face, whether they're moving um, across provinces or from remote communities. There's so many different challenges and ways of navigating.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to the sense of feeling, or I have to do this on my own, or maybe there isn't an help for me personally. Maybe, it's not available, but it's so interesting that it's almost a mirror image everywhere you go. It's always there essentially. You just have to reach out, is I think the point. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
really great. And so finally, how can students get more information? I know you mentioned a booking link. What are some of the ways that students can connect with you?
So we also have a website, it's humber.ca /Indigenous. We are active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So we have year-round events and different ways to get engaged and connect, and also LinkedIn. So if you're a Humber Indigenous student or grad and alumni, we'll blend those two.
Yeah.
You're welcome to connect with us there.
Great, thank you. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Liana. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing these tips and information for our students. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.